Hello and welcome to another creepy and true Louisiana legend. This time we find ourselves in the great city of New Orleans, telling a cautionary tale about testing the validity of the legend, the icon, Marie Laveau, the Queen of New Orleans voodoo. For those of you who don't know, Marie Laveau was well respected by many across the city, including the wealthy whites in the city and across the state. Marie was a free woman of color who carried a lot of weight in the palm of her hand. And when she spoke, many listened without hesitation. Even hundreds of years after her death, people flock to her gravesite, marking X's, leaving gifts and offerings, hoping for her intervention on the other side. So you see, the Queen is not one to be trifled with, because even now, she has proven her power over and over again. So many people come to New Orleans wanting to know or get close to or figure out the ins and outs of the legend Marie Laveau. But there are many things that you will never know. You see, so many people believe that as long as you don't believe in voodoo, it can affect you. But that is not how it works. The power is in the practitioner, not the belief of the person it's directed at. So people come here and they think it's funny. They think it's all made up. They think it's just a silly little story. That there's no way Marie Laveau was real. There's no way she had the type of power that people say she had. They make videos about her on TikTok, disrespecting her memory. But let me tell you, Queen Laveau is still very powerful. And many still cower at hearing her name because they know. And after hearing tonight's tale, you will know as well. Don't mess with the icon, the queen, the legend, Marie Laveau. You know, many people come to New Orleans because they are drawn here by its magic, its mystique, its culture, its flavor. But there are others that come because they're drawn by the darkness, by the things that whisper behind the walls and in the unlit corners. And there are those that come for fun, and they don't have any understanding of the power New Orleans herself holds. So to not believe is a mistake. But hopefully, after seeing this, many of you will learn that New Orleans is not a place to take lightly. And you must come here with respect on both your heart and your soul. Or once you leave, you may never be the same. So this tale is about a young woman. We're going to call her Bianca. She came with a group of friends, a girls' trip, to come to New Orleans and party and have a good time, as many do. They decided to visit one of the voodoo shops dedicated to Marie Laveau down in the French Quarter. And they're in there. And while most of the girls were respectful, they weren't touching anything. They were quiet, observant. There were those who asked questions because they really wanted to know. They wanted the information about Marie Laveau, about what she did, about how voodoo works. Of course, the people in the shop were very accommodating, very pleasant, very nice. But Bianca, oh dear naive Bianca, got it in her mind that, oh, it's not real. You're just pretending to fool the tourists, to get their money, to scare them. She asked questions and she got answers. And her response was always, I don't believe in any of that, so it can't harm me. But again, that is not how it works. The power is in the practitioner. So she's laughing and joking and touching things. And she goes to a painting of Marie Laveau. And she stands in front of her and she points. And she says, that's her right there. Your supposed queen of voodoo. And she laughs hysterically. I thought they said she was beautiful. The woman in this painting looks very basic to me. Mistake number one. And she's asking questions. And she has a rebuttal for everything that the people in the shop tell her. And again, she's telling them, I don't believe in voodoo. It isn't real. There's no way Marie Laveau did all of the things that they say she did. It's all a lie. Well, the people in the shop had had enough of Bianca, and they asked her to leave. Now, she refused at first, laughing in their faces, telling them it's all a joke. You're just mad because I'm not falling for your game. And one of the shopkeepers took her to the side and very seriously told her, Bianca, you don't understand what you are doing. You don't understand what you are saying. You are disrespecting one of the most revered women in the city. And even though she is deceased, her spirit still exists here. Still, people have experiences with her. And I suggest you apologize before you leave out those doors, or you will regret it. And Bianca laughed. And she said, I will never apologize. She walked out. Her friends trailed behind her, very humble and very apologetic. And the shopkeepers told her, keep your distance from Bianca, because Queen Laveau is going to make an example out of her. Well, the girls went on to enjoy their evening. Bianca still rambling on about the experience at the shop and how she wasn't afraid, how she wished Marie Laveau would show herself, how she would pray her away with the power of Jesus. But her friends were not amused. In fact, they were quite terrified because they knew, they felt the energy of the city, the energy of the spirits here. And they had heard, before they came for their visit, they had heard some of the tales of people who were not so lucky when they tested the power of Marie Laveau. Well, it had gotten very, very late, and they made their way back to their Airbnb. Everyone heading to their respective bedrooms. Bianca, of course, still on a high, still giddy, still laughing, not afraid of anything, until all the lights were out and the house was quiet and Bianca was in bed. Now, this is told from the perspective of her friends, and I'll get to the reason why at the end of this. But her friends reported hearing a woman's voice, not Bianca's, chanting all night long in a language that they didn't understand. It sounded like it could be French, but they weren't exactly sure. Now, one of them was brave enough to peek out of her bedroom door, and she could see from underneath Bianca's door, it was light, bright light, like a bunch of candles burning, she said. And that woman's voice, her chanting, steady, loud, vibrating the floor. And she was too frightened to investigate any further, so she closed her door and went back to bed. Now, this went on for hours. This woman chanting in what they thought was French. And Bianca crying. But no one went to her aid because they knew. They knew that Queen Laveau had come to pay a visit to their friend. The next morning, once things had settled down, they finally decided that as a group, they would go to Bianca's bedroom. They tapped lightly on her door, but got no response. So they still nothing. So finally, one of them was brave enough to open the door. And they looked around the room. And Bianca was nowhere to be found. They looked under the bed. They looked in the bathroom. She wasn't there. Crazy thing is, there was evidence that candles had been burning on the floor. There was dried up wax everywhere, but no candles to be found. And then someone heard something coming from the closet in the bedroom. And they cautiously opened the closet door. And there, crouched in the furthest corner, was Bianca, eyes wide, patches of hair missing from her head, unable to speak. It took them hours to coach her out of the closet. And when she finally, days later, when she finally spoke up, all she could say was, "She's real. I'm sorry. She's real. I'm sorry." And to this day, Bianca still hasn't found her voice. And if you ask her, who visited her that night, she will grab her phone and she will pull up a picture of Queen Marie Laveau. So believe what you will, but I know, and there are many others who know, that you don't test the legend, the icon, the queen, because even in death, she still rules. So the next time you find yourself in the great city of New Orleans, pay your respects to the queen. Make her an offering. Go to one of the shops. Leave her a gift. Tell her thank you. Because if you don't, if you doubt her power, if you don't believe, she might decide to pay you a visit.